rain changes the world in ways we rarely think about. It softens the roads, darkens the skies, and turns familiar streets into something unrecognizable. A rainy night drive is a strange blend of beauty and unease, the shimmer of headlights on wet pavement, the rhythmic hiss of tires slicing through puddles, the way the storm swallows sound and leaves only the engine's hum and your own breathing. It's during nights like these that the ordinary can twist into something eerie. Moments where shadows stretch in unnatural ways, and instincts sharpen because the world outside feels different, heavier, alive. Tonight's stories come from those who have driven through storms and emerged changed, frightened, shaken, but stronger. In their fear, they found clarity. In their darkness, they found lessons. In their horror, they found pieces of themselves they didn't know existed. These tales will unsettle you, yes, but they will also inspire, because every moment of terror carries a truth about resilience, courage, and the hidden strength that wakes up when the night presses in close. Awareness is the first thread woven through these stories, and it becomes clear why. Awareness is not just the act of noticing, it is the act of surviving. In a world full of distractions and noise, fear sometimes becomes the force that makes you truly see. Jamal understood this in a way he never expected. He had spent 10 years driving trucks through every kind of weather, the dry heat of the desert, the thick fog of mountain passes, the icy bite of winter storms. Rain had always been manageable. But that night, the storm felt wrong. The sky seemed lower, the road seemed narrower, the silence inside his truck felt suffocating. Even the hum of the engine sounded distant, as though swallowed by something too large to see. At first, he thought it was just fatigue. Long hours, little rest. The heavy, smothering quiet, but the feeling crawling up his spine wouldn't leave. Something inside him whispered to stay alert. Stay sharp, don't drift. His fingers tightened on the steering wheel. His eyes scanned the dark edges of the road, the wet asphalt shining like a sheet of black glass. Then he saw the silhouette. It stood motionless on the shoulder, barely visible through the downpour, a figure so thin its limbs looked like sticks. Its back hunched, head lopsided, arms dangling like soaked cloth. The rain hid the ground around it, but the figure didn't flinch, didn't shiver, didn't move at all. Jamal's breath hitched. His instinct screamed to speed up, but another part of him said, slow down, observe, don't assume. As he passed, his headlights washed over the shape, revealing nothing but shadow, no face, no features. Just a figure that shouldn't have existed in that form. He forced himself not to look, but something made him glance in the mirror. The figure had turned. It was now facing the road directly. Facing him, cold sweat trickled down his neck. His heart beat so hard he could feel it in his teeth. But he listened to the instinct that had whispered warnings since the storm began. He didn't stop. Didn't pull over. He focused on the road ahead, every sense wide awake. Minutes later, another sheep appeared, but this one lay across the highway. Blocking his path, he braked hard. His headlights caught the full scene. A giant fallen tree, its branches twisted like skeletal arms. Beyond it were 2 wrecked cars, their metal crumpled, lights flickering weakly in the rain. Steam rose from shattered engines. The crash was fresh too fresh. Had he been going even slightly faster, he would have slammed into the wreckage. The thought made his hands tremble. He grabbed his phone, called emergency services, and stepped into the rain to check for survivors. 3 people were trapped, dazed, bleeding, terrified. He helped them, talked to them, stayed with them, until help arrived. Later, when he sat back in his truck, drenched and shaken, he remembered the figure. Whether it was exhaustion, a shadow, something supernatural, or something his brain conjured to force him to slow down, it didn't matter. It saved him. It kept him alert enough to stop in time. Awareness had been his guardian. Trusting your instincts is another form of awareness, and Riva learned this the hard way. Driving home alone on a stormy highway, she felt a cold presence behind her, as if someone was breathing softly against her neck. She kept checking the mirror but saw only darkness, the inside of the car faintly illuminated by passing streetlights. Her fear made her consider stopping on the empty road to look, but something deep inside whispered not to. She drove to a gas station instead, locked her doors, and asked the attendant to check the back seat. The man lifted a blanket hand, froze. Beneath it, clutching a knife, was a stranger, a man who had slipped into her car when she stopped earlier at a convenience store. Her instinct screamed before she ever saw him. Fear didn't make her weak, It made her aware. It made her act. Kindness in the darkness is rare, but sometimes it appears when you least expect it. Elim, a young mechanic, was driving through a mountain road during a furious storm when he found a family stranded, their battery dead. Their children were crying, their phones powerless. He helped them restart the car, and before leaving, they warned him of a woman in white set to haunt the road during heavy storms. Moments after they drove away, Elim saw her limping, soaked, waving desperately. But she wasn't a ghost. She was a real woman who had crawled out of the ravine after her car plunged off the road. His kindness was the only thing that saved her from freezing to death. Horror teaches that sometimes the monsters aren't monsters at all, they are victims waiting for someone brave enough to stop. Courage doesn't roar. Sometimes it trembles, sometimes it whispers. His whole body begged him to turn around, to flee, to escape whatever nightmare was unfolding in front of him. After that night, he learned to question his fear, not surrender to it. Dark nights force reflection. A couple nearly lost their lives when a shadow darted across the road during a rainstorm. The skid, the spin, the near fall into a ravine shook them awake. Their argument, their resentment, their pride, it all vanished in that moment. Horror became the mirror that showed them how fragile life truly is. And resilience is born from storms. A rideshare driver who insisted on waiting until a young student safely entered her dorm ended up scaring off a stalker hiding in the shadows. The girl later said the storm, the fear, the vulnerability all ignited a strength inside her. She refused to be broken. Rainy night drives test us. They push us. They remind us that life is unpredictable, fragile, and sometimes frightening. But they also reveal something beautiful. The strength we don't recognize until the darkness demands it. My advice to you tonight is this. No matter how heavy your storm feels, no matter how dark the road ahead seems, you are not journeying alone. You have intuition, courage, hope, and the quiet protection of the one who never sleeps. Ya Allah, place your light before us on every dark road, your protection around us in every storm, and your peace within us when fear tries to suffocate our hearts. Ameen.